He's a very busy man. He bites his breakfast toast in Chennai, wipes his mouth after lunch in Dubai, and goes to sleep after a light meal in Istanbul.
It's a great pleasure to be here in Bahrain Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. In fact, I've addressed in Doha, Muscat, and most of the other UAE countries as well. But this is the first time I got an invitation from Bahrain. After thanking the leadership of the Bahrain Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, CA Uday, the chairperson, CA Sridhar, the vice chairperson, CA Santosh, secretary, CA Mahesh, the treasurer, and all the other people who are behind this session. In fact, 2 years before, in 2016, I was in Malaysia and I was attending World Economic Forum's ASEAN meeting. I met one of the experts who is in the field of the technology, who is into the financial inclusion. We had a dialogue and he introduced me to the News Asia journalist. And News Asia journalist wanted to actually interview, and then she asked me one of the questions that you have achieved so much, what is that one thing that for which you attribute? Generally we say it's our parents, it's our teachers, it's our institution. These are general things. But she asked, tell me something exceptional which you could attribute to. I didn't have an answer, and I was just going to the airport, and then I got into the flight. Then on the flight, I was just thinking what could be the reason that I was unique and I was able to do something different from others that has taken me to this platform. Then I thought it is actually thinking, nothing more than that. You're all successful here in Bahrain, and you are able to succeed in the businesses you are into, or rather the profession you are into, is purely because of your thinking. Then when I got on in Chennai airport, then I actually checked, is there any course on thinking? There were so many courses on something called lateral thinking, creative thinking and all. Then I came across this term called design thinking. Then I invested my time throughout the day without sleeping, even though I was very tired coming from Malaysia, because I want to find the answer what made me successful. Then I attended this course of design thinking of the Stanford University, then I found whatever I learned there, it's already within me. Then I thought I should take this to my community, that is the Chartered Accountants community. Then I actually went and presented this idea to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India president. And I said this has to happen to the student who is pursuing the course. Because today Chartered Accountants are the best with respect to interpreting the information, preparing the information. But when it comes to out-of-box thinking, we have not been trained to that level. In fact, many students opt for Chartered Accountancy course because there is no out-of-box thinking. Then you may ask me, how do I know? Because I was one who opted for Chartered Accountancy because there is no thinking involved. And I was just thinking, when we actually go and interact with the IIMs, accidentally I teach design thinking now in IIM Ranchi, the new IIM established by the Indian government. And now I find that I'm able to teach them because I attended this course, and I'm much better than them because technically I'm sound now. I also know the concept of out-of-box thinking. And when I went to IIM Ranchi, the first day, when I opened up the session, I asked how many people actually wanted to become entrepreneurs. You'll be surprised to know, not even 2 people were ready out of 100. And Indian Institute of Management Ranchi is the national institution of importance. That's what Government of India says. And they get graduated from there. They only seek the job from investment banking, but they did not know what to do with the entrepreneurship. Because they are taught the Western models of entrepreneurship, which is a bit complicated, which sometimes people who teach itself don't understand. And I questioned them, why you are not becoming an entrepreneur? They said, we don't know how to become an entrepreneur. And then the next day, Dainik Bhaskar carried headlines with my name. Sathya is here, appointed to the Indian Institute of Ranchi, Indian Institute of Management Ranchi, for the purpose of teaching design thinking to empower the people of India. That's what the Dainik Bhaskar carried an article. What did I teach them? I said a simple statement. If an uneducated in Tirupur can provide employment to 2,000 people who just didn't even cross 8th standard, an IIM should provide how much employment in India? This was the question. And they asked me an immediately important question, that how do you know that the Tirupur, the 8th standard person, provides 2,000 people? I said I have statistics with me. If you don't believe, generally you don't believe what Indian says, let me quote from Boston University's report. And I said, go and look back at Boston University report, you will find that Tirupur, for information people from other parts of India, Tirupur is in Tamil Nadu. Today, 46% of the knitwear industry is exported around the world. The market share is Tirupur is 46%. And I interviewed about 33 entrepreneurs. Boston University interviewed about 80% of entrepreneurs in Tirupur. They concluded that the entrepreneurs in India, in Tirupur, 60% of them did not even cross 8th standard. Now you might ask me, what about the 40%? The rest of the 20% did not even cross 6th standard. And the 20% were not willing to share their education qualification. So this is the kind of a profile of people who are driving entrepreneurship in India. And if you go and check who are working with them, Chartered Accountants are working with them, the best of the engineers are working with them, IITians are working with them, and if you go and ask them what is that attribute to which they give the success to, it is thinking. When everybody said it's not possible, these people said possible because they had the guts to think beyond others. But unfortunately, in Indian education, I'm not sure about the other international education because I cannot comment because I have not undergone that courses, but I can put it across with a strong point that Indian education lacks providing the pathway for thinking. And today people speak about, in fact, I still remember when I was in 12th standard, I got 200 upon 200 in commerce. I came back home saying to my dad that I got 200 upon 200. He said, how did you get 200 upon 200? Because on the day of exam, you said there is one question where you made a mistake. And you know very well it is a mistake. And today you are coming back and saying you got 200 upon 200, but I am not happy. Your mom may be happy because she wants to share with the neighbors. And I was very clear, today whenever a student comes out with 200 upon 200, I really doubt the capability of the education qualification, especially in the state of Tamil Nadu. Because I'm just waiting for the day where people are going to get 100 marks in all the paper and declare the 500 upon 500 or whatever. This is just going to happen because the education is only merely a tool for information gathering. It is not giving the right set of attributes for thinking. This session today, the design thinking, that has been taken up as a choice because at the end of the day you will feel that you are following it, but you never were conscious about it. And don't ask me whether it's a spiritual session. It's up to you whether to consider it as a spiritual session or a thinking session, but I can put it in a simple way. At the end of the session, you will understand the process of thinking. That's what we are going to do. And this design thinking can be applied for professional excellence. Design thinking can be applied for SOX testing. Design thinking can be applied for IFRS interpretation. Design thinking can be applied for analyzing the double taxation avoidance agreement. Design thinking can be applied for social transformation, and design thinking can be applied for even for your family matters. And this I will prove at the end of the session how design thinking is changing the world today. Now, look at this. Let me start. Don't immediately conclude that I am running a restaurant in India. I am trying to get a franchise here. Design of a South Indian food. I asked this question to many. I even asked to people who are natives of Tamil Nadu, and I even asked, when I speak in Tamil Nadu, I ask about South Indian food. When I go to Punjab, I ask about the design of a Punjabi food. Nobody knows how this evolved. For information, the South Indian food, let me take example of a South Indian food here. Many of them would actually like South Indian food. Probably if you like, you might end up in Saranabhavan or Sangeeta, or probably you will cook at home. But the South Indian food did not evolve. There was an innovation behind it, which we don't value. Today we value the innovation of Google. Today we value the innovation of Microsoft. Do we value what is actually given to our hands by our grandparents and our ancestors? We never do that. Then I went on to ask my mom, no, do you know how to design the South Indian food? She said something happened to you after you went to Malaysia. No, don't ask me all this question. Then she did not have the answer. I called up one of the institutions where the hotel management course is being conducted. I asked that particular chief chef, who is a professor also in that college, and I asked him, do you know how it all evolved? In which period it evolved? He said, I'm clueless. Why are you asking these questions? What happened to you? And he said, but however, I'll give this task to one of my students and I'll come back to you. And they somehow came back with some answers. They said India is a peninsular country. It is very close to, it is basically very hot, the temperature is very high. And the reason why sambar evolved is because if you cook vegetable fresh and you keep it, it will actually get spoiled within 2 to 3 hours. And there is a sambar which you can boil and you can put the vegetable. If you boil the sambar, the vegetable will not get spoiled and sambar also will not get spoiled. And that is the reason sambar got evolved. Then I asked, what about idli? He said, give me another 1 hour, I'll get back to you. And I don't know whom they consulted, but they came out with the answer. Idli is actually a famous food because especially in a peninsular country where farming is the main occupation of the people in South India, especially in Tamil Nadu, they thought, why should we cook every day? And this idli could be one of the options where if I prepare a batter, all that I have to prepare is chutney. So different chutneys and one dish so that it's ease while we are actually running an agriculture farm, because if a woman cooks in the morning, the men will not be available in the home. They will go for the farm and come back later. If you know how the agriculture family, if you are from an agriculture family, you know better. So the women were more compassionate. They were thinking about the men who went for the farm. So they will come back in the evening so that they need to have it ready. So accordingly, the idli evolved, and not only that, idli has a nutritional content which is nothing but your proteins and carbohydrates. In a hot temperature, you would probably require more carbohydrates to burn and to work. That's how idli evolved. Now now what happened, post refrigerator came, and today people actually prepare the batter on a Sunday, on a Monday good idli, on Tuesday bit yellowish idli, and the third day it will be more of yellow idli, and if there is a balance, you prepare idli upma. That's a new innovation by the household people. But the point is, with the same batter you can prepare idli, you can prepare dosa, and that evolved over a period of time. And this is the design behind the South Indian food. And similarly, you would have seen a variety rice, right? You would have seen a variety rice where people prepare rice and then they mix it with different things, and with the same rice you can prepare 10 different items. And last thing which I also asked the same professor is, in a South Indian food, why can't I have first curd, then have rasam, Then I have Atta Kodandu. Then I have Sambar. He said, what happened to you? And then I asked a simple question, why can't I have? Okay, if you feel that you please go to the marriages and have and see how people are going to look at you. There is an evolution, there is a reason why they have done it. He told he will get back to me, but not yet got back. But I'm sure there is a thinking that has gone inside. There is a severe thinking that has gone inside by our ancestors who thought how to prepare a food, and now we take it for granted because we never thought. Now I have a simple question. You tell me in the South Indian dish in the past 60 years, what did we innovate newly, post-independence? I can tell you nothing. It's all innovated by our elders. There's a thinking involved by the elders who tested. Some people sacrificed their life on this evolution. They tested, they brought not only this food, there are various other foods. Now let me come to Punjabi food. Now I'm not going to explain all the food. One instance, I went to Punjab for a session in Chandigarh. While I was from airport to the hotel, I got into the dhaba. I saw a washing machine. And then I went inside. I was like, why this man is having a washing machine, washing his clothes in the dhaba? Then I went inside and I asked him, why are you having a washing machine? How can it be hygienic? He said, boss, come. It's not a washing machine, it is a washing machine which we use for churning a curd. That means in Punjabi food, curd is, the people take buttermilks, right? And that's a kind of a consumption of buttermilk, right? So I asked him, why do you have buttermilk first of all as part of your food? He said there is a reason because it's a hot climate, we need to have nutrition, so that is the reason. So same India, different parts, different design of foods. How did they do? It became a culture. If you go to Punjab, there is a Punjabi food. If you go to Gujarat, there is a Gujarat thali. If you go to South India, there is a South Indian thali. How did it all evolve? It is because of the design thinking of a particular set of people. Now let me apply the same design thinking for a particular community. I just chose Sikh as a community to explain you how the particular community's leader thought they should evolve and how it became a community. The Sikh community basically was brought in India to ensure that the invasion doesn't happen, and accordingly the Sikh community is a mix of Hinduism and Islam in India. And if you look at the Sikh community, people wear turban. They also have long beards. Why did they have it? If you look at it in India, generally what happens in our community, in our country, only kings are allowed to wear the turbans those days. So the founder, Guru Nanak said that all the people, the youngsters who join the community, will be given the turban to have the feel of a king and the beard to look unique, even from the distance. And everybody's name will end like this: Kamal Jeet Singh. Kamal will be the name, Jeet is victory, Singh is lion. Everybody's name. If I'm there in Punjab, my name will be Sathya Jeet Singh, because Jeet is victory, Singh is the lion. So that feel of the victory, the feel of the winning attitude comes in the name itself. That's the reason they designed their name. And similarly, to ensure that they come into the order, they have karseva. They also have food being served on the floor, and not only to enjoy in a group, they have bhangra, right? So this is the design of a community. You can go and apply this to all your communities, all your cultures. There's a design involved. So what I'm saying is this thinking is not something which is unique today just because Harvard and Stanford is embracing it. Now let me take you through the Disney world, Disneyland. If you go to Disneyland, there are 4 M's, which is always you can see. The Disneyland is grand. When you go there, you will see movie, you will see museum, you will see mela, and you will see motion, right? Pictures, motion pictures. Because of that, the feel of Disneyland is something unique which you have. Look at somebody when they created this Disneyland, how they would have designed. It was there in his mind that there should be impact in the mind of the people who come to Disneyland. In all this design thinking, what is common? In all this design thinking, there is something common. Only one thing. That is the compassionate attitude. The attitude which is about the human-centric thinking. That it's about human-centric. You look at the Disneyland, it's about how when the other people come to Disneyland, how will they feel? The feel was captured as a business model. Similarly, the food, the South Indian food, the women were cooking at home. They were not thinking about themselves, they were thinking about the people who went for farming. That's how the design thinking. Design thinking is a human-centric approach. It all starts with human-centric thinking, right? So design thinking is a human-centered and collaborative approach to problem solving. using a design mindset to solve complex problems. Today, in both these universities, this course is highly sought after by the youngsters. Whether you pursue your MBA, whether you are from any professional stream, people are now pursuing it. Both Harvard and Stanford is offering this thing. Before we get into understanding the steps in design thinking, let me tell you, today the jobs which the youngsters are seeking, today the jobs which we are actually working, these jobs will not exist beyond 2020 or beyond 2022. That I'm putting it in two buckets. I can very confidently tell you, how do I check that these jobs will not exist? If you go to the job and do the job without thinking, and it's more like robot doing, those jobs will not exist. Whenever I address the youngsters in India, I tell them that if you are seeking a job in BPO, those jobs will not be existing beyond 2020 because of robotics, automation and cognitive solution. Not only that, you know better, blockchain is coming up, where the trust quotient is being one of the critical component of blockchain. Accordingly, blockchain will replace all the intermediaries, including chartered accountants or auditors as well as tax practitioners. You might question me, you can debate with me. Before even I proceed with that video, let me tell you, chartered accountant roles will be diluted. Not that I'm giving you a wrong information, but I'm telling you with a full conviction that the role of the chartered accountant will go away when the blockchain is going to enter the different phases of business. Because what is the role of a chartered accountant today? He either does an auditing or he either does a tax work in preparation of the tax returns. Both, when the blockchain is going to be implemented, it's going to be real time. Accordingly, there is going to be a dilution, or rather the roles of the chartered accountants will change in the days to come. Let me put in a simple way. Indian government, when they came out with the GST, GSTR 1, GSTR 2, GSTR 3, there are 3 returns which they prescribe. GSTR 1 will capture the outward supplies of the company or the business. GSTR 2 will capture the inward supplies. And GSTR 3 is nothing but output tax minus input tax. The net effect will be captured in GSTR 3. What did the Indian government say? You give me the invoice-based detail month on month, pay the tax month on month, so that we will get all the information from you invoice-based detail. This was the Indian government's vision. Whether it happened now or not, that's a different issue. When they came up, this was the plan and the system was made ready. Now tell me, if this would have been successful, let's assume, what would have happened? Indian government will have all the data of the business. The purchase data, the input data, everything will be there. The output data will be there. At the end of the day, what will be the balancing figure? The payment of tax, the net payment. Now, you tell me, should Indian government ask you the income tax again? They need not ask the income tax again, because already they have the turnover figure, which is actually mapped to the PAN number. All that they would have done is, in the near future, they will implement it. They just have to prepare, the government will prepare income tax return, send you a mail saying that this is your turnover as per the GST, this is the applicable rate, you are paid this much advance tax, check is this right, yes or no. If you say yes, the return is filed. That's the reason I'm saying already the evolution has started and the roles of the chartered accountants will get diluted over a period of time. Nevertheless, but the opportunities will come on the other phase. Now let me show you this video. You look at this video. Excuse me. Audio.
Usual was often once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars and computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about a holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen, the future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
So, this is the video which I wanted to show you. This clearly shows you what is very important today. The humanity, and the one thing that is a unique thing of a human being is thinking. That is going to be the future's asset. Now if you look at why design thinking, we all encounter a lot of problems every day, be it in organization, be it in your professional excellence if you are a practicing member. So, but is there a way we think? Yes, we think, that is the reason we are successful. But one thing we should remember is, everything where you have achieved, everything started with a confusion. Whether passing your CA examination, when you said you wanted to do CA course and everybody said it's not possible, and the same uncle when you qualified and said that you qualified, he said, I know you will pass. And everything starts with a confusion. Every innovation starts with a confusion. There is always someone who takes the initiative to actually think about it, bring a heuristic solution to that, and makes it as a process. We need to be that person hereafter who will work on the confusions, make it a heuristic process out of it, and then bring an algorithm. Those people are the people who are not capable of thinking will follow the algorithm. Then who will follow the algorithm going forward? Robots are going to follow. Because if it's an algorithmic based work, robots will do it. Cognitive solutions will do it. Immediately when I talk about robot, don't think about the physical robot. Even if it is a software solution which can replace the exception management which you do regularly, that is called cognitive solution, robotic solution. That's the reason I said you, today BPOs in India, whatever the work the people do, it's all about exception management, which is outsourced from US. Those things will not be existing going forward because exception management will be done by the robots much better than the human beings with less cost to the company. Now, what is this design thinking all about? In this situation, in the situation of confusion, when there is a mystery, how do you resolve it? There are 5-step process in this design thinking. 1 is empathy. 2 is definition, that is defining it, defining the problem, and ideating on the problem, and bringing a prototype for the solution, and then testing it. You can go and check any innovation that has happened in the recent past, or rather any innovation in the past would have gone through all these 5 phases. People who did not understand that they are in the process of innovation. Look at Larry Page, who started a small search engine, and today it has evolved to change the world. Today Google, today the Facebooks are determining who is going to be the political leader of the country. Can you imagine? That's a kind of a transformation that technology has brought. When I still remember when the Facebook was there, when the Orkuts were getting introduced, my dad used to say, don't get enrolled in all this social media. But today my entire family interact only in the social media. That's a kind of a transformation that the technology has brought. And every innovation, every new thing, every confusion will undergo this 5-step process. You would have done it, but you are not conscious about it. When I talk about empathy, it's about human-centric approach. If you think that Larry Page created Google for making profit, we are 100% wrong. If you think that LinkedIn was created with the motive of making a profit, we are 100% wrong. If www was created with the motive of making profit, we are 100% wrong. All the innovators do not look at profit as an element at all. What they look at is that human problems. Are they rectifying the human problems? In that, they will look at scalability and feasibility. Only these 3 things will run in their mind. It is not about the business. They always focus about human desire, and they work on the human desire. Where they look at is what is the feasibility. Let me give you a small case study. I still remember when I was actually pursuing my chartered accountancy. In Chennai, my home is actually 45 kilometers away from the coaching institute. So if I have to go to the coaching institute in the morning, I have to come out from my home, which is 2 kilometers away from the road, catch the bus called 21G, then go to Mylapore, that's a place in Chennai, attend classes, and then come back to home. For a 2-hour class, I used to spend 1.5 hours up and down. But the point is, when I went to catch the bus, it was an unpredictable situation. I don't know whether the bus will come in the first place, and I don't know what time the bus will reach. Now look at the situation now. Now let me come to the second phase. While I was actually working in KPMG, they booked me a flight to Mumbai for one of the audits. From Mumbai, I was supposed to go to Sangli. What happened? There's a connecting flight basically to one of the regions nearby Sangli. I forgot that place. Morning when I got up, I booked fast track. In the fast track, I said, I'm coming. By the time he came, it was delayed. By the time I reached the airport, already flight left actually. And what was the situation? He said, he's coming. I booked fast track 3 hours before. Now my partner is asking, why did you miss the flight? What can I say? Can I say that fast track is coming? But look at recent days, or rather to take my journey to this time, I went to Africa, from there I'm coming here. What I did, the previous day night, I had booked Ola. The Ola was ready at 3:30, 15 minutes before. And I got into the cab, came to the airport, and had a very fruitful journey. Now the question is, what changed? That problem of bus was rectified by Fast Track. Fast Track is a travel agent. From Fast Track, it got rectified to Ola. And today when I started from my home through Ola, I know what time I will reach the airport. Earlier I did not know what time. Where is the traffic exactly? If there is a traffic, how to take a diversion? Everything is known in advance. Did we ever believe, when we had phones at home, did we ever believe that one day you will communicate without a wire? Did we ever, when you had Solidar and Dynora at home, the TV, did you ever believe one day you will watch movies in your mobile? We never believed. Every impossibilities was thought possible by the innovators because they were working on human desire. The human desire only becomes a business through feasibility and viability. So the people who understand this create new things, and I can put it across, whether it is Einstein, Newton's law, or Larry Page, or it is Reliance, Dhirubhai Ambani, anybody who had innovated and come up with successful in life, definitely they would have gone through this 5 steps in their thinking process. Always the achievers or when they solve the problem, they think about the other person. Not only that, the design thinkers always observe the situation. Because moment you understand the problem from the human-centric approach, what do? You go deep into the problem. Most of the time, I'll tell you, most of the time when you actually have a problem in the organization, what we do, we discuss the problem. We don't go into the root of the problem. And when we go into the root of the problem, we don't document the root of the problem. We talk about the problems only, and then we leave the situation. But the person who is leading it, you all would have joined as a junior level officers here in Bahrain, and over a period of time would have become leaders in the organization. If you go and check how did you become a leader, you would have become a leader only when you handle the problem, only when there is a confusion, only when there was a challenge. That's what management was looking at. By knowingly or unknowingly, you have been doing a design thinking work. You have been handling the problem. You went deep into the problem. You ideated with the team. You discussed with few people. When I say team, it could be more than one or two. You discuss this problem. Then you prototype the solution, and then you communicated this solution to everyone. That's called testing phase. You would have done it already. Only thing, we are bringing the consciousness. Now, in this design thinking, especially when if you're a design thinker, you will observe the situation. Let me put it in a simple way. You all must be aware of the internet revolution that took place. Can you tell me in which year internet was invented? 1956? DARPA? Okay. 78? 68. Okay.
Should I refer to Biplab Dev?
Which one?
Should I refer to Mr. Biplab Dev after that?
Okay. Alright. Let me put it across in a simple way. In 1969, ARPANET was the first internet mechanism which was used, which became which was available to the public through Hotmail. Even though the technology was available, but who commercialized it? Hotmail commercialized it because they reached to the masses. Now tell me, is this the innovation or is this a copy? Yeah? It is innovative copy. What is it? Okay, alright. This is not innovation, but somebody was observing it. At that point of time, internet was not penetrated. Somewhere in 1996 only we got this the internet back. We used to connect with modem. You remember that sound will come, then immediately it will get cut. Again you have to connect back. So that time somebody was looking at ARPANET and they thought, why can't we reach it to the larger section of the audience? And then Hotmail reached it, and that's the revolution of the internet. One more example I'll give you. Look at, for example, this motor vehicles which got invented. It was invented in 1800, right? And subsequently, somebody was observing this innovation. They thought motor vehicle is actually moving in the horizontal. Why can't we use the same technology and make it vertical? That's how today you have the buildings, tall-rise buildings available because of the innovation of lift. Innovation of the lift was not independent. It was taken from the motor vehicles. The design thinker will also just not innovate or come out with a solution. He will also look at the best practices. That's the reason most of the time, for example, if you go to the pharma industry, most of the pharma industry will get the guidelines from the association and they will implement the guidelines. It is not that the people are not capable of innovating, but they get the best practices by observing. So a design thinker will also observe the other best solution available. And the second is about engaging. A design thinker will not implement and take credit for the purpose of his own efforts. He will engage the people. He will make everyone part of the problem. When I say part of the problem, he will sit and discuss and ideate and bring out the solution on this problem. Not only that, he will immerse into the problem and work on the problem and provide solution to the larger section of the stakeholders. And in the defined mode, design thinker will actually provide definition of the problem. He will get into the problem. I will apply this into the various case study at the end and tell you how the definition works. In the definition phase, he will not just talk about the problem. He will go research about the problem and provide the definition of the problem to the larger section of the team with whom he has to work. And in the ideate mode, he will sit with the larger section and then you will understand, brainstorm. I'm sure when you ideate with the larger section, you know what would be the result. Most of the time you'll be put down, most of the time negative comments will come up, and when the negative comments come up, we actually leave the idea about the solution, we'll shy away from the problem. Your design thinker will work on the ideas, and he will ensure that whatever that he will appreciate more negative comments than the positive comments, and he will take up this negative in the idea stage and further provide the solution. And what he will do is, post idea session, he will also generate prototypes. He will not go for massive investment, or he will not use the cash of the company or whatever massive exercises. He will try to prototype, provide the solution to the stakeholders, and finally he will test the model and make it as a culture in the organization. So you can apply this whether you are an internal controls leader, whether you are a finance controller. You can see that you would have applied this at some point of time in your profession. So you will achieve excellence only when there is a mystery and you actually create heuristics around it and then provide algorithm for the same. Now I told you about human desirability, technological feasibility, and business viability. Now the next question is, most of them will actually ask, why did the internet revolution did not take place in 1969 when the internet, ARPANET was there? At that point of time, human desirability was there, but what was not available? Technological feasibility was not available, but there was always scalability possible, but technology feasibility was not available. Let me put across another question. You all must be aware of this MP3 players, right? I still remember those days people used to get the Walkmans, and one cassette would be there, the latest movie cassette would be there. I'm just revisiting the history, and when you look at it, it's pretty funny. And near my home, there was one person who used to go by first class in the train. I used to go to the classes in the train at that point of time. So on that day morning, he was having a tough fight with his wife because something happened to his Walkman, and he got out from home and then he was going in the train. I also was in the same train. I knew that Walkman was not working, but still this man was actually putting the Walkman. And I should be studying my 10th standard or 11th standard at that point of time. Then I asked him, Uncle, morning you were actually fighting that the Walkman is not working. How did you, is it working? He said, shut up. And then he told me, well, got down, why are you playing it? Today if I don't put Walkman, my prestige will come down. That was the kind of the prestige value Walkman had. But for information, MP3 was innovated even before the Walkman actually was being used by the people. It was somewhere in 1980s that the first MP3 coding was done, and it is possible. But what was not available? The technology feasibility was not available. When it scaled up, it got scaled up in 2001 when Apple came out with the iPod. And that's when this MP3 innovation scaled up. Now tell me, is it the Apple who innovated MP3 players, MP3 format? Somebody innovated, but Apple was absorbing the best technologies available, the best practices available. It took it and then it scaled it up with the technology which became feasible, and finally it became scalable. Today I would say the smartphone industry was the father of the smartphone industry is Steve Jobs, because if the Apple iPod would not have come, Apple iPhone would not have come, right? When Apple iPhone came, Samsung, we all should revisit the history, they copied the technology, and China copied it, and large scale production. Today every Indian is buying a Chinese mobile because of the innovation being observed by someone and copied by someone. So why I'm saying is, the three process which the design thinkers will always think about is, whenever you handle a problem, there is a human desirability, there is a business scalability. What is important is your technological feasibility. Only when all the three come together, you get the customer experience, you get the achievement. So anything you achieve would have undergone, or rather in your business, every business will undergo this phase. Sometimes you actually come up with an idea. That idea need not be implemented immediately. That idea will actually take up some time actually to implement. Accordingly, this is about the customer experience. There is a human desirability which is mapped by the technological feasibility. The outcome is the business viability. Now, who is a design thinker? A design thinker is not about, design thinking is not about analytical thinking, it's not about intuitive thinking, it is not about creative thinking. A design thinker is someone who uses intuitiveness. Now when I say intuitiveness, you think, what is there for the intuitive thinking? For information, all the technology, all the possible solutions today are available because somebody imagined it is possible. For example, when people are questioning how a metal will fly, Wright brothers thought we can do the innovation. That's how we got the aeroplane, right? So, the design thinkers will not only rely on analytical thinking, they always go for intuitive thinking. Most of your business decision, if you rely on analytical thinking, it actually fails. Most of the time, it will be intuitive thinking. Let me put up from my own experience. When I was in audit division, I used to audit one of the large corporates. At that point of time, we used to get the data's confirmation. And what happened? When I was doing that audit, we got the data's confirmation. And the data's confirmation we used to take and tick off. So auditor means ticking off only. Right? It used to take and tick off, check and then keep it. What happened? One new article who joined us, he questioned me, sir, how do you know this confirmation is original? He asked me, how do you know this confirmation is original? I said, look, the confirmation came to office, it's a direct confirmation, that's what the auditing procedure says. And I got the confirmation, we have the courier records made and this has come from the customer. And he said, no sir, I feel this is not a original, genuine confirmation. I asked, how are you saying it? Sir, we are in 2009 and 2010 in the December month. So, we are in 2009, the letter is in the word art, Microsoft Word, and you don't even see that, you are believing this confirmation is right. And I said, look, Minister of Chartered Accountants of India said, you should be a watchdog, you should not be a bloodhound. Sir, all that is fine, sir. I know even the case name, Kingston Cotterill's case. You plus see whether, first you see whether it is genuine or not. Then I couldn't accept his view, then I kept quiet. In the morning I came, my senior is also there, who has been auditing this company for the past 15 years actually. And I was just 3 years in that audit. Then I picked up the confirmation, I called up that landline. Some lady picked up and said it's a wrong number. And I couldn't believe, I thought, okay, it will be one of the confirmation. Then I picked up other subsequent confirmation, every number was a wrong number. There was another confirmation which was from another country actually. We called up and that number also was wrong number. Then I found, when we did special procedures, then we found that this is a fraud done by the company where they tried to post using the employees itself and they've arranged the system and it's a sham transaction. And then we resigned out of the client. Now tell me, here is it my qualification will help me to find out? Is it my analytical review which helped me to find out? What helped me is the intuition of the freshly joined article. You just thought, how can you use word art? Now the question is, I can also deem him. I also messaged him, you are a design thinker. He asked me, what is design thinker? I said, I'll come to US. He's in US now. I'll explain you at that point of time. So, we have applied design thinking everywhere, but we never were conscious that we are applying the higher level things. Now I said, when I thought that sometimes intuition is right. Why? I will give my own example. I was just sharing with you yesterday. I started from Africa, in Uganda, entered the airport. I just checked in my luggage. And then my intuition was saying that, okay, it is Africa, it is checking in, and then I have to take another flight from Dubai. Whether will my bag reach Bahrain? Alright, anyway it is heavy, it is 2 o'clock, let me give it. Then I gave it, I came to Bahrain, Uday was waiting for me, I saw bag was not available. I was not worried about the bag, because anyway you get the insurance much more than what is there in the bag. But I was worried about today's program, I can't wear this suit. Because I have to go to the shop, get a suit, and come back and lot of other procedures to follow, and we got the bag in the afternoon. The point is, sometimes intuition is right. I don't know why, but intuition works. So, design thinkers will actually rely on intuition plus analytical thinking. Sometimes your analytical procedures, analytical results may not be right, but you will actually go for it. When you go for it, sometimes it will be right. You would have experienced that in an organization, right? So, the design thinker, if you are an analytical thinker, produce consistent and predictable outcomes, you believe on that. But if you are an intuitive thinker, you will always produce outcomes that meet desired objective. So accordingly, if you mix both, you are a design thinker. Alright. Now when I talk about these three structure, business viability and technological feasibility and your business scalability. When I talk about it, it's about three innovation. One is an emotional innovation. What you desire, you want to see as a scalable model. And when you actually integrate that with the technology, it's a functional innovation. And finally, when you integrate all three, it's an experience innovation. You can feel it anyway. For example, you have your own MIS reporting, right? So sometimes you actually get the MIS reporting in the same format. As a junior, what we do, if it is an analytical review and audit department, we fill the numbers and write the same statement and try to update the numbers. People who are in audit unit understand. But the experience comes from the emotional innovation, functional innovation, and experience that is process innovation. Only then you get the customer experience. Same way, you can also try to apply these techniques for the purpose of innovating in the MIS. For information, most of the time when you actually present the MIS reports periodically, what we expect, what is the new thing I'm learning from the MIS reports? Or rather, we expect what is that information in the MIS which we will use. More the information is drilled down, more the information is strategic, which is helpful for your decision making in the organization. So you can apply this design thinking in that phase also. Let me differentiate this. A traditional thinker will always go for flawless planning. If you go into many organizations, we'll always be sitting on the planning. Most of the time we don't implement the ideas. But in case of a design thinker, if you're a design thinker, you will not worry about the flawless planning. You will always worry about how you can go and do. Even if it is error, no problem, you will try for it. Right? And two, traditional thinker will always think about avoiding the failure, but a design thinker will fail fast and succeed fast. So sometimes what happens, when you are a traditional thinker, you keep planning, but you never take decisions thinking that you will fail. But if you are a design thinker, you will fail fast but succeed also fast. Traditional thinker will do rigorous analysis, but a design thinker will do rigorous testing, because he will pass through 5 phases and he will test. Traditional thinkers will always give presentations. They will not go to the real life situations, but a design thinker will do lightweight experiments. For example, you go to an HR conclave. You learn about rewarding an employee. If you keep asking the permission from the HR, you will not be able to do. If you keep asking the HR, should I take my employees outside, he will not give you the permission. Probably you will go, if you are a design thinker, you will go and implement the idea and see how the employees actually will are reacting. My own experience I'll give you. Dhirubhai Ambani used to actually, whenever he goes to hotel, you would have heard the story, he will give the money first, tips first to the servant, and then sit for eating with his customers. And then he will serve better. And this is the story which I heard. And when I heard, immediately, I thought I'm a design thinker. Next day when I went with my clients, I first gave the money to the servant. And you should see, he was actually exceptional in his service. And my customers were asking, sir, how is he doing so much service to us? And I just implemented some new idea and it worked extremely well. Because the clients are feeling, oh, Sathya is here, that means he's a special, he's an important person, and that is the reason we are getting served so much. The simple technique is, I implemented what Dhirubhai Ambani did. I paid him first. Now tell me, you eat first and pay him later. What is the use? So a design thinker will always think. Here, what is the thinking that was there for Dhirubhai Ambani? Human-centered approach. The way he will feel, he also felt if you reward someone first, he will do. Look at, for example, if your organization gives bonus first, how will you feel? Same thing, right? So I don't know how will you feel, but you might ask higher bonus. But I'm just trying to put it across. Okay, so always traditional thinkers will keep the arm's length, will keep the customers at arm's length. They will never think about customers. You have to note, finance people mostly will never think about customer. Finance people will always think about managing directors. Finance manager will always think about managing director. Tell me one organization where finance manager, finance department and HR go well. It's very rare. If you are really doing well with the HR here, that means you are an achiever anywhere in the world. Because most of the time, the The MD, if you want to scale down the bonus, he will tell you to communicate to the HR through you only. So the point is, most of the time, the finance people are arm's length away from the customer. The lesson that we need to learn is, as a finance people, the HRs also generally communicate about this. We need to take the customer experiences first. Whatever you do, whether it is MIS, whether you actually prepare the financial statement, everything is actually for the customer. When I say customer, it may be a stakeholder. And I was just once addressing in the Controller and Auditor General of India, the government audit body. And one person stood up, the senior officer stood up and asked, all right, you are talking about customer experience. Your body, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, is not a design thinker. I didn't understand. He said, why? I asked him. He said, you bring IFRS, do you think a common man will understand? You tell me which financial statement common man will understand. Either your data, or first of all, sometimes we ourselves find it very difficult to understand. Right? So that's a kind of a complication. Now the point is, we keep the arm's length principle for the customer. We have to get into the customer's things and look at the stakeholder as an important component. And most of the time, auditors also will think about protecting their role. While you're giving the audit report, we always think about how to comply with the said standards on auditing, but we never think about what is the outcome. We never think about what is the purpose of that audit report. Well, I was addressing once on the topic called related party transaction, and somebody said, why is so many procedures given by the government, and it is the responsibility of the board of directors? I said, don't think about the board of directors adopting it. Think about the value what you give to the through related party transaction 188 section in the Companies Act 2013 in India. When I said that, their perspective changed. Sometimes we forget. We always think it is a procedure, but the procedures are for the purpose of customer experiences, right? So we always should have deep customer immersion. And traditional thinkers will always say, let's analyze and do periodically, quarterly, 6 months, yearly. But design thinkers, when they face a problem, when they want to improve on a process, they'll implement immediately. They'll implement immediately and try immediately. They'll be more proactive. Traditional thinkers will always be thinking. Design thinkers will be doing. This is the concept of design thinking. Let me put it in a simple way. In the design thinking phase of 5, that is empathy and defining the problem, ideation and prototype and test, first 2 steps, the empathy and definition will provide the relevant opportunity. If you capture certain problems, that would actually become an opportunity. In the first 2 steps, when you are in empathy, you think about you start with the human-centric approach. When you explore on the problem, that will become opportunity. And when is that you materialize the solution? You start materializing the solution from the ideation phase, because you understood the problem, you understood the opportunity existing in that. Then you take it to the larger public or larger team, and they will start giving inputs, which will act as a solution provider for you, which will help you to refine the solution what you have in mind, right? And also the prototype is the model which you will follow before doing a massive investment or massive experience, massive testing. You will experiment in bits and pieces and find that it is helpful, and then finally you will test in a larger phase. This is what all the achievers do. Now, you understood what is design thinking, the steps of design thinking, the human desirability, technological feasibility, business viability or scalability. Now, what is the backroom of a design? Recently, one youngster came for my office for recruitment. Then I asked him, tell me something, which skill you like the most? He said, sir, I will operate the computer, I will work on Excel, I will analyze the financial statement and everything he said. I asked, in 21st century, what is the relevant skill? Can you browse and tell me? He browsed, he couldn't get the answer. Then I said, hereafter, whatever the job you are going to do is going to be process-oriented job. Whether testing internal controls, whether doing internal audit, it's a process-oriented job. What will happen if you lose the job, if the robots come in the future and replace it? He didn't have the answer. Then I said, you need not possess any skill in my organization when you join. All that you need to possess is learnability. That one skill that you need to have every day is learnability. Because today technology is not changing in linear model. Today technology is changing in exponential model. For example, Dubai government has actually implemented blockchain in their government. How many of them know Andhra Pradesh government has already implemented blockchain in distributing the farmer benefits? How many of them know Andhra Pradesh government has also implemented blockchain for transport industry in Andhra Pradesh? And it's a kind of a transformation that the government itself is undergoing. And a lot of organizations are adopting blockchain, and it's going to come. That is going to make you sustain in the employment is learnability. Whether you are working in a developing nation, whether you are working in a developed nation, that one thing that is going to give you valuation in the future is the learnability. Now the question is, what is the learnability? Learnability is nothing but the insatiable curiosity. Now it is not something very unique that you need to possess immediately, go for sessions, attend Harvard or Stanford courses and learn it. Look at when you are a child, you are very curious to know. Whenever you went on to ask, people said, shut up and sit. That's how we stopped learning things. And whenever you question the teacher about the concept, the teacher did not know the answer. And if she did not know the answer, he or she did not know the answer, she said, please read the book and write the exam. And we believed that, we did it, and we never questioned. The point is, the learnability is a very, very important skill in the 21st century. Idea is the 21st century's currency. Learnability is what will fuel the idea. If these two things are not taken up, being in the job or in business is going to be tough. Take for example, I'll give you an example. The landmark. How many of them know about the landmark store in Chennai? Opposite Institute. I'm very curious to understand. How many of them are from Chennai, Chartered Accountants? Alright. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is located in Mahatma Gandhi Road in Chennai. Opposite to that is the landmark store. So we used to have long duration classes. We were a batch of 15 people, and the institute was not having AC those days. So what we used to do, landmark used to be there. We used to go, don't tell anyone, anyway it is getting recorded. So we used to go to landmark, sit there because it had an AC, and then we used to come back for the class. And landmark, we can go and read books, purchase books. But we never purchased, we only went there, took the book and we read or not, that's a different issue. But today, landmark is not there. Landmark is not there as a shop there, and second, the brand landmark itself is not there because it is disrupted completely by Flipkart. The question is, when Mukesh Bansal delivered the first book, landmark, when the Mukesh Bansal purchased a book from a shop like Landmark and delivered to the customer, still landmark was existing. They would have observed this process. They would have observed this process. They would have implemented easily. It would not have been a huge capital cost for them. But they thought it's just a passing cloud. Many tried it. It will never work out. Today they are out of business. Today they are out of business. This is a kind of disruption which are expected. Hardly within 5 years. 2007 Flipkart started taking off. Today, in 2011, they closed the shop actually. There is no shop at all. No landmark shop anywhere in Chennai, neither across the country. The reason is, sometimes we need to be good observers. Learn from the smallest innovation, because that innovation could completely transform the world. For example, blockchain was introduced in 2009. Now it is taking off. It was introduced in Japan by one of the professors. But today, crypto is a formula based on which blockchain is actually evolved, is getting evolved. And blockchain is becoming the necessity because of the trust. 2008, when the financial crisis happened in Lehman Brothers, people lost trust. The best of the brains were working in the Lehman Brothers. The best of the economists were working in the Lehman Brothers. But what was lacking in the financial institution was the trust. Today, every government, every organization is empowered through blockchain only to create the trust. All these examples why I am giving is learnability is very, very important. If you are in the domain of accounting, don't just look at accounting standards. Don't look at just the developments happening around the interpretation. Look at what disruption is going to happen. How many of them know that there is new technology which is going to come under the blockchain methodology, replacing double entry system of accounting with a triple entry system of accounting? How many of them know about it? Now a simple question. Now, what's the process that organizations are following across the globe? You prepare the financial statement, and first you pass the entries, accounting entries, and then prepare the financial statement. Then auditors will come. The expectation is management will prepare the financial statement, but the reality is auditors prepare the financial statement, attest on the financial statement, and then subsequently provide to the government. The entire reason the role of the auditors came is because to ensure that the trust component, because we are qualified chartered accountants. You know what's happening in India now? The point is, when this is questioned, immediate alternative to the government is technology. And when they look at, if they want to replace the accounting, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India may not go to the government and say, there is something called triple entry system of accounting, which is there, please bring it. But government of India will look at this observation and they will test and prototype and check whether it is possible. We may argue it is not possible, but if the robots are going to replace the jobs of the human being, that's a question. What's the exception of an accounting or a tax return preparers? The point is that innovations are happening. I suggest to the organizers to conduct a program on triple entry system of accounting, where the blockchain technology is brought in. A simple question: when you pass debit entry and credit entry, there is a third-party technology which will capture both. That is called distributed database. If it's one database, what will happen? It can be altered. It will be amenable. But if it is distributed, it cannot be amenable. Even if it is amenable, the other people in the network will find out and they will kind of flag it off, or rather it will be pushed out of the technology. And audit trail. We speak about audit trail. In the auditing fraternity, the most important is audit trail, right? Audit trail, when blockchain will be implemented, audit trail will be there forever. Not only with the old record, but also with the old record plus the new record. Old record, the new record, and the new record. So the chain will continue. This is a kind of a disruption which is expected in the auditing profession itself. Why am I stressing on that? Is because it's a closed forum with the auditors and chartered accountants. So we need to understand these changes happening. For information, in Australia, KPMG has implemented robos for audit. In Australia, 2, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi is also looking at implementing robos for tax audit. It's there in the agenda of the Ministry of Finance. Already the talks are going on. They're also looking at implementing. So these are the question is, we will say, no, it is not possible. It is a politician's statement or it is a will, but it is a necessity to ensure that the trust of the people is won. So Carl Rogers says, I want to talk about learning, but not the lifeless, sterile, futile, quickly forgotten stuff that is crammed into the mind of the poor, helpless individual, tied into his seat by ironclad bonds of conformity. We should not be a people who will actually hold information, but we will be the people who will use the information, think and come out with a solution. This is what is going to be. The 5 forces that drive design is skill, enterprise, perspective, idea and alignment. If you are a design thinker, these are the 5 forces which will drive you. What are the 5 forces? Skill. Let me put it in a simple way. Today in India, the first preference of any youngster is engineering. The pathway situation is these engineers are not finding jobs. I can tell you. Then I thought, what is this? I can tell you with the full conviction because I did some research around it. I went to the education institution. I do sessions with the youngsters. I made a civil engineer to get up. I asked him, you are a civil engineer who are actually searching for a job now. Do you know how to construct a small wall? That person was a very genuine person. He said, never have I constructed a wall in the past 5 years in my college. I am a civil engineer. Then I thought he was a civil engineer. Then I made the mechanical engineer get up. Then I asked him, now you are a mechanical engineer. You have a bike. If it stops on the way, you know how to repair it? No sir, mechanic will do it. I don't know how. He's an automobile engineer, for information. Then third is very good interesting stuff. There was electrical and electronics engineer. Then I asked him, if your tube light goes off in your home, do you know how to change the tube light? He said that the electrician will take care. This is a kind of a skill. Now with all this education qualification, the question is the skill built on it? No. Only when the skill comes, new ideas will come. When you practice the skill again, that becomes an expertise. The skill is about knowing, doing. Expertise about going deep into the skill, and you strike a perspective through which idea will come. Only when you align, organization blossoms. I hope you got the idea. When the skill itself is not there in the education, the question is, it takes time for it to get placed. Whenever you go to the, today nowadays, the organizations are not seeing the marks of the students. What they see is the skill. For example, look at Google. They don't care whether you are 10 by 10 or 9 by 10, doesn't matter. They have their own set of questions. And they are out of box thinking. They call it out of box thinking. But I can tell you, the people who learn design thinking will crack the examination of Google. Because it's all problem solution, you have to handle it and analyze it. People are not even able to handle it as the first point. All the engineers who are getting graduated. So that's a kind of an education system we have. Now the point is how these 5 forces will act. If you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, if you're a scientist, doesn't matter. You have to develop the skill. Today you're all in the employment. You're all succeeding because you develop the skill from the day one. You are getting paid. You are getting promotions because you are skilled every day, and every year the organization assesses your skill and gives the additional responsibility. When you started, you were doing certain things at 1 hour or 2 hours pace. Today you do it at 5 minutes. By look of it, you will say what is a mistake. This is what for which organization pays, right? This skill should be mastered. When the skill is practiced again and again, you develop expertise. When expertise comes, you strike on a perspective. That's when you become a solution provider. When you become a solution provider, lot of new ideas will come which the organization will accept. If you are a problem creator and you give idea, organization will not accept. If you are a solution provider and give an idea, organization will accept. You can experiment and check. Many people will complain. When I was actually working, it was an employment that when I used to lead a team, they used to say, I'm giving so many ideas, why are you not taking? First implement the idea which we gave. And then there will be other ideas. Don't speak, act on it. That's what I say. A traditional thinker will speak, but a design thinker will act on it. I have seen some of the brilliant. I'm not brilliant, but there are people who work under me who are brilliant. And those people used to, when I used to give a problem, they used to come out with a solution. I never taught a person in my organization how to prepare a graph. That man went on to get data from the client, used to prepare and project the data with all the colorful graphs in the audit days itself. One of my seniors used to say, why are you wasting the time? But I used to say, it's a good thing that you are doing. On a look of it, I know how the trend is going on in the organization. Where the sales is dipping. Which product is actually going down. Sometimes people actually come with that kind of a perspective because they will never talk about the problem, they will always think about the solution. These are the people that we need to harness. Only when skill, expertise, perspective and idea align towards one single thing, it is organization. That's the reason whenever you go to certain organization when you work, they always speak about organization policy. Because they know what will work, what will not work. They know what will work and what will not work, and they know that something cannot be done specially. You need to align with the organization objective. While you are actually a design thinker, don't think your life will be easy. And you are already a design thinker, you know better. Already you have experienced the 5 frictional forces. Doubt. The biggest problem of the Indians, especially, it's a platform of Indians, I'm making it a point. I'm not going to discuss it with any other people here. The biggest problem of the Indians is self-doubt. Always when we actually look at new ideas, people think, is this the one I'm the only one who's thinking like this? Nobody thought like this? Did Larry Page did not think like this? Then Microsoft Sathya did not think like this? Am I thinking like this? Did my senior, why I am thinking like this? Why did my senior did not think? The doubt puts us down with respect to new thinking. This has to be conquered actually. And 2, conflict. Most of the time what happens is you have a good idea, but you want to take credit yourself. There comes the 3 problems: opinion conflict, perspective conflict, and then expectation conflict. So these 3 conflicts come because of you want to take the credit. So a design thinker will never think about the credit. Credit will automatically come to him. You can check. Credit will automatically come to him because he's all the more managing the conflict and the temperament. So when the conflict comes, you show the temperament and forget the idea which you generated. You generated, and because of that, there is a fear for the existing job itself. What will happen to the existing job? I gave the idea, somebody took it, somebody doing it, but now I'm lost. The fear. So that's why we need to be courageous. Actually, courage is not about absence of fear, it is overcoming fear. Courage is not about absence of fear, it is overcoming fear. A design thinker will always be courageous, overcoming the fear and working on the fear. Ego. The biggest problems in an organization actually never grow beyond boundaries. It's fenced because the authority has an ego. There are 2 types of ego. One is, I know it all, don't tell me. I want to know. I want to know, you please tell me, is a good ego with an authority. But I know everything, don't tell me, is going to stop the organization. And similarly, it can be an inner level conflict also. How is that I don't know that that person is saying? You don't think on the idea, but you actually think about that you don't know. So always get to know. Sometimes you will succeed by not doing the work, by integrating everyone. Some of them in the organization will say, that man doesn't work at all here. But still he is getting good name from the boss. And he doesn't sit on the Excel sheet. But still he is able to get bonuses and get the performance appraisal. I used to have one audit manager. Seriously. He never ever opened the laptop for the 3 months. He used to audit from the other's laptop. And he forgot the password also. They used to be safe put. Okay. And he will be the high performer. He doesn't even know Excel formulae. Whenever you used to ask him why you don't learn Excel, he will say, technology will take care in the future. Why should I learn? It's going to be automated. But if you look at his uniqueness, he is very, very good in customer handling, client handling. Clients will pay you in the first shot when he calls. Clients will pay you first shot when he calls. But there is another person, manager, who will work 24/7. Client will never pay. Now, he balances the work, he gets the work, he's collaborating. So, design thinkers always collaborate. He knows what to take the best out of the people. Because he's not thinking about the problem, he's thinking about the solution. So, these are the 5 frictional forces. All the process which I told you. So, understanding the problem, observing, and providing defining the point of view, finding ideas, developing prototype and test will always be running in the mind of the design thinker. Whether it is I was addressing to a retired government officials. They called me to address the retired government official on design thinking. Then I called the organizers, why are you calling me? And they said, no, you come, you just explain this process. I was just explaining the routine stuff of all these innovations, all the problems in the office and all those things. Immediately one gentleman stood up. He should be some 57. He stood up. He said, sir, is my wife a design thinker? I asked why. Every day, sir, she used to nag me. She used to nag me with the new ideas. I said, okay, I don't know, seriously. Do me a favor. You just go and apply this process. Ask her how she actually nags you. It's a 3-day session which I do for the government officials. This is design thinking 3-day workshop. And come back tomorrow and tell me whether she is a design thinker. He went home. He came back the next day. Sir, I got the answer. She's a design thinker, sir. I asked how. She always thinks about me and formulates the nagging with certain process. I said, what is the process? It was a serious discussion with him. I asked him, what is the process? Nothing, sir. I will leave the office at 9:30 in the past 25 to 30 years. My wife will switch on the television at 10 o'clock in the morning. Sun News, Sun TV will come out with a serial. By looking at the serial, she will think what to do with the husband in the evening. And she watches about 5 to 6 serials. When I come back, she has formulated a new idea how to nag me. Then I said, what did you do with the nagging? He said, I used to handle it. If you handle it, you are a design thinker. You are a design thinker. Then I asked, then when you are handling, how did you handle it? I always think how to make her calm. That means it's a human-centered approach. Then when you start with empathy, right? You can start any problem with empathy and sympathy. Yet sympathizer is no use at all. Sympathizer is no use at all. For example, what is sympathy? I'm sure many people here are chartered accountants who have taken multiple attempts. That's the essence of the course. Okay, so you call someone when you fail the examination. Yeah, exactly. So I can feel it actually, right? Because I'm also part of that league, right? So you call someone, you fail, you need some kind of energy within you. You are calling that person immediately because you want to get that energy. You call him and you will say, oh, achocho, what are you going to do in life? These are sympathizers. I'm sure you have encountered these people. Even today in your organization, sympathizers and sympathy will never work out. What is empathy? You call someone. For example, you call me. What I will do when my student fails and calls me, because I'm a design thinker, I will tell him, don't worry, I also failed. I will ask me, sir, how many times you failed? It will be a general question. Okay, I failed multiple times more than you, don't worry. Okay, Okay, then what to do now, sir? Nothing, don't worry, just chill out. It's a part of, that president, this person who is in the government, everybody failed and only passed. Then he gets back to the energy. So this I learned not because it's my innate nature, because I understood what is the concept. Not because I attended Stanford course, not because it's about the Harvard course. It's about already it is there, now I'm reassuring what I'm doing is right. Yeah. So then the empathy. Now the husband, then how did you apply this? He gave the same idea. He said, I want to make sure my wife is peaceful, sir. Then only I can be peaceful. So first, okay, I thought, what is the problem? Then I defined the problem very well. The problem is cereal. Now I cannot cut the cereal. Immediately I ask good things about her. I'll ask her, can we go to holiday? Then she'll say yes. Then I asked him, do you say the same thing every day? No, I say different things every day. That means you are applying the design thinking every day. You are perfectly alright. The reason why he is worrying is after the retirement he has to go back and sit at home full day. So this is the thing, and people really started applying it. That's the reason I told you, you can think it as a management concept, you can think it as a spiritual concept, you can think it as a professional excellence concept, but if you have to apply all three, any problem you apply this, you will understand that you can actually make a difference. So now let me come back to the blockchain. Let me explain you, and then I'll also take up the question. I'll also tell you how design thinking can be applied for social transformations also. In fact, I was very inspired by this presentation of that Indian community, the relief fund, right? That's very inspiring. That's a design thinking. Somebody thought about it in Bahrain. Everybody was thinking about it. Somebody was empathetical. Everybody was sympathetical. There was somebody or some group of people who are empathetical. They went, analyzed the problem. Look at when he presented. How many problems he's addressing about the Indians. And then he worked on the problem. And I tried to apply. Is he a design thinker? He's absolutely design. I'm not sure whether he's around. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot the face. Yeah. So he applied on he defined the problem. Then he also applied the other processes. He went into the deep into the problem. He created a prototype. I'm sure he would have started the first small projects, then you tested it with a multiple project. As simple as that. You define, first is you think empathetical, then you define the problem, you ideate. When you got this idea, did you generate this idea? Somebody followed it. Okay, whoever generated it, he would have got this idea, then he called up someone and said, come, let's meet for a coffee. Then they would have shared it. The first person he would have shared maybe would have told, this is useless. Government will not give permission. First see your job. If you do all these things, they will think you are unionizing the Indians. Yes, this could be the running in the mind of the NRIs. But somebody broke that barrier, said, I will work for the cause of the Indians. Then he went and ideated, then he gave a prototype, and then finally he tested. And today it's a transformation project for an Indian. And how did the funding? I very got inspired about the funding, the drawing competition, right? And there's a contribution to the society today. Today it has become a culture where Indian embassy itself is giving the recognition. But when it started, they did not think about Indian embassy, they did not think about the recognition, they thought about the problem. The end result is awards and the end result is rewards. So this is the kind which we can apply even today's example. You can go and apply in your organization. Sometimes if you are a design thinker, you will find the purpose of your life. If you are a design thinker, you will find the purpose of your life. Most of the people, when I interact with retired officials, they used to tell me, Sathya, you are on the right track, you do multiple things, you wear multiple hats, you are with the government, you do this, don't ever go and get stuck up with a job. Ask them who has spent 40 years in this organization. And he says, every standard thing, every person in that hall, retired people who are attending, I should have done something to the society. When the society is expected to do something for them. When I say they become old, they can't do anything, I said, still you have an opportunity. Then they like that positivity. They said, you can be the mentors for the people like me. What to be done, right? You can create a mentor-mentee model. You can do career counseling, you can talk about your domain. So they got inspired, and some people in that crowd has actually started doing career counseling for the youngsters. They go and say the youngsters, don't worry about the money, don't go and get stuck in the government job, do something innovative. Nothing will happen. That's a kind of inspiration the people who retired are doing today in a particular locality in Chennai. Right? Now let me apply this design thinking for a blockchain. Let me give a case study. In Andhra Pradesh, there is a village near Chittoor. There was one farmer called Ramaya. It's a real case study which went into the desk of Chandrababu Naidu and which the government acted on actually. Why I'm quoting Andhra Pradesh is not, I'm not from Andhra Pradesh. Don't immediately deem, because whenever I speak in India, they think I'm getting vote for Chandrababu Naidu. I am from Tamil Nadu. Okay, so I'm just giving a live example so that you can understand how the transformation is happening in the governments using blockchain. I'm made to understand from Uday that Bitcoin was conducted as a session. Now let's apply the design thinking in blockchain for transformation of governments. This Ramaya actually cultivates tomato near Chittoor. Chittoor near places are known for tomatoes. And what happens with the farmers is, farmers are the best entrepreneurs in the whole country. The reason is farmers don't know whether rain will come. Farmers don't know what would be the product, price of the product which they can sell. And they are the risk takers. That's the reason I call entrepreneurs are the people who take risks basically. And these people don't have the assurance of anything, but still they are the occupation of farming, which is the essence of the humanity. Look at it. Technology or the IT companies are the essence of the humanity. The essence of the humanity is food. In the entrepreneurs who are doing it, farmers. They don't have the price fixation for their food, neither for their products. So this Ramaya cultivated tomatoes in 10 acres or something, and then the middleman who took this tomatoes did not pay him the price. He actually cheated. Ramaya did not know what to do. First thing, he was not provided, he sold the tomatoes, but he was not given money. Now he thought, and the farmers don't, in that particular farming community in India especially, people don't actually get farming loan. They generally get private loan. They generally keep the gold. Why I'm saying is the human centered approach. They take the wife's gold or the mom's gold and pledge it in the bank, and then they fund for the farming. Now he did a farming, he got the product, but he did not pay the price. So he went for the land to sell the land to ensure that he actually comes out of the debt. When he went to the land to sell, to bring the parties to show that land, there was another person who was standing there and saying it is my land. And saying that 10 acres is my land. And this man was shocked. Ramaya was shocked. He said, look, it's my land. My father gave me this land. It's my ancestral property. I have mother document. I have patta. He said, nothing doing. I have patta. Patta is in my name. And now the person who would have got this patta is an influential man. When I say patta, the land record was in his name. In village they call it as patta. I'm sure everybody would be aware. Right? Yeah. Title deed. Right? And then he rushes to the government office. There starts the story. When he rushes to the government officer says, how do I know that it is your land? First pay me money. Let me look into the matter. Already this farmer does not have money. Already this man has got loan. Already this man is cheated. But when he entered the government office, the government officers were supposed to safeguard the interest of the common man in a democratic country. Says, you pay me the money first and let me look at the matter later. Ramaya, for example, anybody would have been in the place of Ramaya would have actually suicided. Because the loan, because of the debt, because he's already suffering losses, was not paid. But somebody in that village noted this and passed on to one of the IAS officers to tell you that there are certain honest IAS officers also in India. I'm giving a message. There are certain honest IAS officers also in India. Today you might blame the government is not performing. I will never blame the politicians. We have to blame the governments. Because most of them actually would have come here, but you don't know what happens in the government department. Let me tell you why blockchain is important. I'm not talking about the governance, I'm talking about government department. 3 places you should not visit in India. If you have not visited, no problem. One is the government hospital. If you go to government hospital, you will forget what to do. You should never get into the government hospital. 2, you should never get into the courts. Either for filing the complaint, nor as an accused. Because it's no use. By the time the judgment comes, the grandson will ask, what is this? Let's assume Ramaya goes to the court against an influential person. Do you think he will get the justice? Because judicial bodies in India is also corrupted. Now, looking at all these three aspects, Ramaya indicated about this matter to someone who went and told this matter to one of the IAS officer. IAS officer took this matter very seriously, and politicians will take it very seriously because it's a farmer's issue. And he went and represented this matter to Chandrababu Naidu, Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. And Chandrababu Naidu said, I don't know what you will do, but it has to end in Andhra Pradesh. You travel to Silicon Valley, you get the best of the experts in Bangalore or any part of India, but I want this problem to be resolved. And of course he's right, because today Google is headed by Sundar Pichai, who is from India. Microsoft is actually headed by Sathya, but still we don't have solution for the farmers in India. Right? We have the best of the solution provided for the developed world, but we don't have a best of the solution provided for the developing world. That is our own country, right? So that particular IAS officer went to Silicon Valley, he did a brainstorming and found blockchain is the solution for this problem. And they used the design thinking. Now, why I'm saying that IAS officer is a design thinker. This problem came, he was not a sympathizer. He was empathetical about the problem. He went deep into the problem. He presented this to the Honorable Chief Minister. Honorable Chief Minister took it very seriously because two reasons. One, people are getting affected. Two, the elections are forthcoming. Right? That is also important. Just the way profits are important to business people, just the way marks are important for the students, votes are important for politicians. Right? And then he got this idea and he went and they implemented blockchain in the state of Andhra Pradesh. The first state in the country to implement blockchain for land records is Andhra Pradesh. And when they did it, what is the concept of blockchain? If the land record is actually brought under blockchain, the records are created, it is distributed to the distributed ledger. It's a concept of ledger, you all must be aware. It's a concept of ledger which is distributed among the same network of people who are trusting that network. Ultimately, who is the distributed network? It is the government. Ramaya's record distributed with the government officers. If it is a one single officer, it's a problem. Let's assume if it is distributed to multiple government officers, if that government officer, that influential person goes and pays him 1 lakh and says you tamper or you amend the patta, then he cannot do it. So there is a multiple government officer now. And accordingly, Ramaya's record has been taken into blockchain and is rest assured throughout his life that nobody can tamper his patta. That is the land record. Somebody tampers, what will happen? Blockchain will throw up to the distributed ledger. One officer, the culprit also will be found if he does not understand the technology. There is the least possibility that the people will be corrupt anymore in the land record in Andhra Pradesh. That's the reason whenever I used to address the large gathering where there is a discussion about corruption, we all need not fight going to the road. If you implement technology, corruption will automatically go away. Now tell me, the land record corruption is completely gone. Andhra Pradesh government is also looking at implementing blockchain for transport division. Why? Because of the vehicle ownership and engines and all those things. A lot of things are happening in the government. And the inspiration for this is Dubai government to Honorable Chief Minister. Honorable Chief Minister actually, Chandrababu Naidu came to Dubai with his team to understand how the blockchain is actually implemented. You all must be aware that he visited our branch also at that point of time. And Andhra Pradesh also conducted blockchain conference recently with the government officials, calling the people from US also. This is the kind of a transformation the blockchain can create. Now, one more example which I wanted to give you. The blockchain will also be a good technology for the purpose of the wherever you feel that there can be record can be tampered. For example, take for example your own organization. Somebody works in an organization, leaves the organization. You cut the cake for him on the last day. He could go and cut the database itself. Control X. It would happen multiple times. I still remember while I was actually working in audit division. I don't know what happened to that employee. We trusted him so much. And one fine day, he told him to leave the organization. He left the organization, last day he cut the cake. And he went into the land, he deleted the entire files, he went off. And you can't do anything. You can't do anything. He was a fresher. and he did not even cross six months. In basically the probation period also. Can't do anything. And data loss is data lost. Today you can lose an asset and recreate it. But if a data is lost, data is the new oil of the 21st century, right? So now tell me, if blockchain was there in the organization, let's assume a simple blockchain technology is there. What would happen? If somebody deletes the data, it will be indicated to the people in the distributed ledger, and he can never delete the data unless all the people in the distributed ledger give him permission, or rather approve it with the private key and public key, right? Using the form they call crypto. So don't ever think bitcoins are the only thing where the blockchain can be applicable or cryptocurrency. There are multiple agencies in which blockchain can be implemented, and you will see most of the governments getting transformed in 2020 onwards using the blockchain technology, right? So I spoke about design thinking, and why design thinking for the governance is important. Ultimately, it's about the people. Today, fortunately or unfortunately in India, the JAM is highly successful. Jandan, Aadhaar and mobile. Today, 30 crore families in India have Jandan account. Out of 130 crore population, total families in India is 46 crore. If you put everybody in the family packet, it is 46 crore. In that, 30 crore people have Jandan account. And Aadhaar, I am very proud to say, out of 130 crore people, 18 crore people have Aadhaar card today. It provides a dignity and identity. Aadhaar card. 3, mobile. In the smartphone segment, in 2013 when I saw the records, it was about 200 million people who were in smartphone. Today, it is actually moving towards 500 million people. Almost 50% of the population is in the smartphone. And ordinary phones are not taken into account. It could add up another 200 million. It roughly comes about 70 crore people in India who have smartphone. Jandan, Aadhaar and mobile will transform India under the blockchain technology. And I am very clear, it's not about the government. Whoever comes, it's about the technology which is infrastructure which is available. That's a real success of Digital India. To make Digital India successful, if you don't implement blockchain, Digital India destruction will happen. If you implement blockchain, Digital India will be highly successful. Simple. It was one of the previous Prime Minister, it was Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, who said, if I give 100 rupees at Delhi, only 86 rupees goes to the common man. Sorry, 14 rupees goes to the common man. 86 rupees goes to the middleman. The governance leaders itself know that the money is not reaching the common man. Today, it is very sure that today 100 rupees is given at Delhi. It directly reaches to the beneficiary because of Jandan account. Now can I trust this banking channel? Take for example Ramaya. Let me add more fuel to Ramaya's issue. Let's assume Ramaya had a fund and he compromised his passport to someone in the village, and that someone who know how to siphon off the money, siphoned off Ramaya's money. What he siphoned off? The loan he took, I'm just giving another example to adding the fuel to Ramaya. And he also took the earnings what Ramaya had. On fine day when Ramaya stood up and saw the mobile, or rather the bank account, when he went to the bank account, if he finds that there is no money in the bank, then what will happen? His life is actually collapsed, right? So accordingly, what is lacking here? There is a Jandan account, but what is lacking is the trust. Let's assume if blockchain is implemented by the financial institution who has actually implemented the Jandan account, automatically nobody would have siphoned off the money because it is in the blockchain technology, right? This is a kind of a transformation that common man will also undergo shortly, and for all this, design thinking is the essence. We have done the design thinking for IAS officer also in some of the sessions. We have done design thinking for revenue officers also. We have done design thinking for politicians also. They came thinking what will be there, but when they went, they understood this is the future, and they also claim that they are design thinkers because they apply this principle while the election comes. Okay, design thinking for professional excellence. These are some of the books which I want to recommend. The Design of Business by Roger Martin by Harvard, Design Thinking Methodology book, design thinking for strategic innovation. It's nothing to do with innovation. It's a process how you can evolve. It's a book which you can try to implement. It has a quotation, and lean versus agile versus design thinking. How do you differentiate these three aspects? And design methods 101. It has a full of methods which you can adopt. We do this session actually in India, in some of the parts in Africa, and also in US for 3-day session. We're also going to do it in Singapore shortly, where we actually completely transform the organization thinking, and people say it is working. And the problem with these kind of programs is that first one day only it will work. Next day onwards it will be routine. It would have happened. Motivation is not surgery. Motivation is like a medicine, like a diabetic medicine. Every day you have to take to maintain the motivation, right? So we actually bring it as an organization culture. In some of the organizations, we are establishing design labs. Don't think about complicated. We just paint the walls with the design thinking concept, so that whenever they eat, whenever they discuss with the problems in that particular room, that room will have all these things, so that they get reminded about this concept, so that they don't forget about it. So I think the time is up already. So let me give another 2 minutes so that I don't leave it. So in Government of India spoke about New India. So what we thought as a group of youngsters in Tamil Nadu, we thought, what is this New India all about? Then we searched, the government did not define what is New India. They only said Sankalp Ke Siddhi, right? New India by 2022. So then we analyzed. Then we found Swami Vivekananda's idea given what is New India before 120 years. He said, let New India arise. Let it arise out of the peasant's cottage, grasping the plough, out of the huts of the fishermen, the cobbler, the sweeper. Let it emanate from the factory, from Mars, from the markets, and from brews and forests, from hills and mountains. What he meant is MSME. What he meant is MSME, micro, small and medium enterprises. The problem is they are not aware of the policy of the government. So we thought, let's take his own ideology. We applied design thinking. Today we run an organization called Vivekananda Institute of Leadership and Governance, which is completely transforming the youth in Tamil Nadu. Because you will find that in media most of the time that the Tamil Nadu is in mess with a lot of protest and things like that. We thought, let's work on an alternative model. We now reach and set up a Vivekananda Leadership Circle in the college. We run Vivekananda Leadership Talk about empowering them about what is this New India all about, how to empower understand the public policy. Most of the schemes are implemented by the government, but they don't know what is the scheme. They don't avail at all. So we teach them, and we run something called Village Talk, like TED Talk. It's run from Vivekananda House in Chennai. That's from Vivekananda stayed when he visited Chennai, and that's the same place where we run the Village Talk, which will be telecasted to all the Vivekananda Leadership Circle clubs, basically in the colleges. We have overseas chapters also, where we have established Village chapters, where it will be telecasted to the Indians, and this will also be uploaded to YouTube. The question is, what is so exciting in this project that to be claimed as design thinking? What we understood is, New India is not possible, what the government claims, without empowering the citizen. What are we going to do in this project? We are already started doing it. This is the 12 pillars. The 12 is because Swami Vivekananda's birthday is 12th January. We kept 12 pillars for the project. One is we will talk about the culture. Culture is very, very important. Today Israel, Japan, Korea is successful because they feel privileged about the culture. Unless we revive the culture in India, we can never make India a new India. Two, we talk about education reforms. We talk about economics, not the economics about Adam Smith and Alfred Marshall. How many of them know Mahatma Gandhi is a great economist? He gave about the village development, which none of the governance leaders have adopted. We talk about it. We talk about the social work. There are unsung heroes who come and speak about their work, which they are doing silently. We are highlighting them. We talk about the governance, how to bring the transformation in the governments. We never talk about the negative, we only talk about positive. There are so many people to talk about negative, but we talk about the positive. We talk about the management theory, we talk about the Indian management models, rural development, youth development, national development, linguistics, and literature. For information, this project does not have any cost. This project does not have any cost. There is one videographer who will come, record. There is someone who will telecast live, and the place is in Vivekananda Cultural Center, which Ramakrishna Math has given. And this project is considered by the government today as a transformation project whenever we present. Today, there are about 2,500 places which are impacted by Ramakrishna Math in India, where we are going to set up this, and it's going to integrate the people. does not involve any investment. It's about the empathy. The empathy is, whenever you go to the village, you will find, you will not know what schemes are applicable to him, given by the government. When he is ignorant, the people who are corrupt play on their ignorance. When we empower with the knowledge, that's a supreme dharma which we can do. That's what we do in this. I'll close the session with this 30-second video. He is also a design thinker. So, whenever I start presenting, I'll talk about Harvard and Stanford. And when I discuss this idea with some American who came to India to address in our Vivekananda Institute of Leadership and Governance, he said, Sathya, why are you promoting Harvard and Stanford? Why are you promoting Harvard and Stanford? Swami Vivekananda is a design thinker. I said, how are you saying it? He said he started his walk from Bengal. 22,000 kilometers he walked in India. He is not uneducated. He is educated from convent. His father was a lawyer. And he came to Tamil Nadu. Two people funded him. Alasinga Perumal and Ramanathapuram Raja funded him to US trip. When Swami Vivekananda was 30 years, in 1893, when he went to Chicago to address, everybody addressed from around the world about the religion and culture. As a 24th speaker, Swami Vivekananda said, my dear brothers and sisters of America, with the 2 words, 4,000 people stood up and India became a global agenda. There was a global leader. And he said, you know why Swami Vivekananda traveled 22,000 kilometers? To understand human-centric problems. He is a design thinker. He defined the problem. He meditated on the problem, on sitting on the Kanyakumari. And he went and presented in the global platform. That's when it was heard by everyone. He never spoke about separatism. He never spoke about his religion to be up. He always spoke about global harmony, which is the essence of the world. So don't ever say it was a Harvard concept and Stanford concept. Swami Vivekananda was a great design thinker. And this video actually puts across. You can look at the quotes. He says each work has to pass through these stages: ridicule, opposition, then acceptance. Design thinker will go through this process. Those who think ahead of their time are sure to be misunderstood. When everybody said it's not possible, some people said it's possible, right? So he has told that. He says, our great things ever done smoothly, time, patience, and endowment must show. That's what he says. He says the time and money. So design thinker will have that, time and patience. I always told the design thinker will fail fast and succeed fast, right? He already told, do not look back on what has been done. Go ahead. That's what he says. So design thinker should, if you look at the frictional forces, one of the important things is the fear. Fear is not absence of courage, it's overcoming the fear, right? So be a hero, always say, I have no fear. Tell this to everyone, I have no fear. All the more relevant today for the design thinking. He has clearly said, take up one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. And just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. This is the way great spiritual, or if you're a business giant, you will have to go through this phase. If you think about the idea, work on that idea. So the empathy will give you idea, you go and define with the 5 process. You are a design thinker. So thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Rest assured that India is you can be rest assured your contribution to India is great. I'm very proud today whenever I travel, even if 2 days before I was in Africa, today Ugandan economy, Bahrain economy is completely being kind of contributed by you people. I made to understand from Sridhar that there are 1 million people, about 1 million people in 1 million, right? 50% are expats and that 80% are Indians who are contributing to the economy. And I think Bahrain has oil. India is also coming up with a new oil called data. Because 1/6 of the humanity is in India. Without India, there is no data. And for information in particular, Tamil Nadu is the highest consumer of data. And Tamil Nadu is the place where good morning is told highest number of times in the world. So the data is the new oil. The brain of the world will emerge from India. Let the West give the technology, we will give the ideas, and definitely it is possible. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity. India will be in the fourth industrial revolution, and because it's super intelligence technology. The first industrial revolution was based on the coal, which Europe, steam, sorry. First industrial revolution was steam, which Europe capitalized. The second industrial revolution was the coal and the, oil, which the Americans actually gained out of it. The third industrial revolution is your hardware technologies and software. The fourth industrial revolution is going to be super intelligence technologies. It's thankfully that India does not have any legacy system, infrastructure. When we did not have, don't worry, other countries have legacy structure which they have demolished to create new. But India can create afresh. Today India is about $2.5 trillion economy. By 2022, India will definitely clock $5 trillion, become a $5 trillion economy. By 2030, India will become $10 trillion economy. When in 2047, when India is going to celebrate 100th year of independence, and China is going to celebrate 100th year of Republic of China, India will forever overtake China and become number one country in the world. And it is definitely possible for the Indians. So, thank you. Never ever regret that you are not in India. I always see India is more united outside India. This unity provides me divinity to go and explain to the people. Please understand how Indians are united abroad so that that model can be adopted at the local level. Don't ever worry that you are abroad. You are doing a wonderful job. We need more remittances. We need more remittances. Only thing, don't park your money in Bahrain. Please park your money not in NRE account. Just don't keep it idle. Please put it on some startups. Put it on some real estate. Don't worry. If you don't have the agenda of the public intellectual in India, why you should be in India? Only when you have agenda with the public. When you don't have agenda with the public, you just want to work. It's better to be abroad. Inspire the other people around the world. Take a lot of money, give it to India, and inspire the startups. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I look forward to it.